Hi,
Better.
Mark.
Hi, Jesse.
It's
You'd
our
like
fun
to
intro. Are you ready to get Colton going?
let's see if he survives this.
Hey, there he is.
There he goes. Hi, Colton. I'm Mark.
Hi, Colton. My name's Jesse. We've never met before.
The first question I always ask people who collaborate on doing music videos is what came first, the music or the idea for the video?
Oh, good.
Ooh. I mean, they kind of blend because Jesse's been talking about this concept for a while, and we both had this idea for a movie. I should say more so Jesse, but he throws me his ideas, and then I would like just feed into it.
Yeah.
But he had this cool idea, and then just showed him this track I was working on, this one and another one, and he was like, "Man, I really feel like this fits what I'm going for."
Explain the story. I'll let you
Okay.
do that.
Yeah, cool. Great. Okay, great question, Mark. God, it's like we freaking you talked. We didn't even. This is like we're just doing this for the first time. Hey, so yes. Well, okay, here's a story. Me and Colton, we go to movies a lot, and this was kind of like born out of that, right, Colton? You remember like sitting in Ola, and then we were talking about like the witches, and then we instantly had this idea of like the witches traveling through time. And then like once I think it was probably Colton's idea. He was like, we can get into like the 90s where we really know a lot of stuff and we that's like our musical bed, you know?
Mhm.
And we'll have a good time. And that was a long time ago. That was like 3 years ago. And then
Wait,
and yeah.
this concept has been 3 years in the making.
Oh yeah, totally. And this is just kind of like a this is a teaser concept. So the let's just get into it, I guess. The song is called Darkness Marching. Colton made the music, and
Hmm.
we're gonna work together on a feature-length film that's going to play like nothing that's ever been done before in my mind as far as musicality matching the visuals. Me and Colton worked really well together, and I love working with him. And his musicality is fucking and brilliant. So I have an idea that I want to blend, like, and so me and Colton are kind of like writing, and we will once I get this kind of like the script together. We're going to sit down and like walk out the film, how the music will like grow and blend and transition into different parts of the film. So the music is going to be the main character of this witch film called Witch Eyes, which is after Colton's band name. Is that your
I mean, it's just a musical project I've had for years since
yeah.
like I don't know, around 2015 or 14 or so. I've just had a project called Witch Eyes.
Okay, I have an idea that there's going to be like a witches that travel through different times. I want to film like so. Then Pam Grier witch was a '70s witch, so she's doing Pam Grier shit. Right, there's decades. So the '60s is the one witch doing the Ouija board, and there's references to the '60s. The '70s is Pam Grier and Judith doing that dope ass shit, beating my ass everywhere.
Action.
And then the '80s is Slade, who actually is on the track as well. She's the one forging the blade in the
All
fire.
right, I thought I saw somebody with a
Yeah,
sword.
she's the singer,
Yeah, she's
you
the
know.
singer. She actually is on the track. The '90s is represented by the kind of techno dancing number with the vampire witch. Which is just like, I don't know, Blade, the movie Blade was a huge inspiration. So we were trying to do Blade. The opening to Blade, the first Blade was Wesley Snipes, is like, to me, one of the greatest opening sequences of all time.
Now I have to go back and watch the movie.
Yeah, I had to too because I hadn't seen it in so long. So when he
It's
said
been
that, I'm like,
ages.
I gotta go
Yeah.
watch that scene again.
It's
Dude, that
been
scene is
ages.
so fucking dope. That's a huge inspiration. That scene when that blood to the beat, everything to the beat, as that song grows, all the tension grows, and then the blood drops from the ceiling, and the vampires start just doing vampire shit in a techno, in that dope ass techno environment. I'm like,
Yeah,
it doesn't get better than that, right, Colton? I mean, come on, that's like why we're.
it's cool. Yeah, yeah, it's badass.
That's basically what the vibe is, right? I mean, to me, I'm like, that's what
Yeah.
I just like badass chicks doing badass shit.
Colton, were you in on the production part of the video at all, or is it just the music? I mean, were you there? Were you all of you there at the same time during the production?
On one part of it, yes. He talked me into coming and being like an extra in the one that's like supposed to take place in like a 90s club.
The number one thing about Colton is he hates being in music videos. He like fucking
Yeah.
hates it. So, like every time, I mean, I've asked you this so many fucking times.
And I sometimes cave and do. I've done it a few times where I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And he's like, just do it. Just stop being a baby and just you don't have to do any like you don't have to do any dialogue. Like you don't have to remember any lines. You don't have to pretend to act. I'm like, okay. I just
Yeah.
have to like stand here, walk over here.
If you look closely, Colton is in the music video for like a
Okay.
split second. He's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an interaction with him and Miranda, which is the actor who plays the vampire witch. He's just a good looking dude. Look at him. I mean, the lighting's a little wild there. He's just a good looking chap. And I just always want him to be in it. I love like a little nod, tip of the hat to the artist who made the track in the music video. I've always loved that. Just kind of a little cameo in there, subtle. I think that's cool as fuck. We always start our fucking podcast like off the rails. Like what in the let's start at the beginning. Okay. I want to know what got you into making music. What the hell? Why did you start making music? What happened? Early influences. Tell me about that. How did you get started?
Well, I mean, I started playing music as a kid, like in bands. My pretty musical family picked up a guitar, started playing bands when I was a teenager, and then when I got out into college, I like really wanted to start a real band. So I did, and I played, in bands for years. But then I started like getting really interested in electronic music and like stuff like that. And then I honestly like I've always been like really into movies, and I remember like seeing it was like Silent Hill or something. I think it was like Silent Hill. I saw that and I was like, I had no idea that film music could sound like that, like could be like that. Like it was just crazy, gnarly sounds and kind of industrial and I've always been an industrial music fan. So I just thought, wow, this is crazy. I didn't know you could put that kind of music in film. So then that just got me down the rabbit hole of film music. So I started being like, I'm really interested in this. So I just started like learning how to do it. I started scoring. I would like pull up scenes of movies on my computer and mute the audio and rescore it myself.
There you go.
And I did that for like a couple of years just for fun. And I was also making a lot of electronic music. And then I was like, I really want to take this seriously. So I moved to Canada for a while, and there's a really good school there for like film music production and video game music production. So in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I went up there, studied for a while. But honestly, I was kind of ahead of everybody because I'd already been doing it, and I just had some instructors say, it's good to have you here, but it's expensive here, and like you're just kind of already ahead of the game. Like we just recommend you just get out there and just start scoring. Like score anything you can get your hands on, basically. So I just started trying to find anything I could get my hands on, and I scored a bunch of like short films for free and some student films. And then eventually those started landing in film festivals and doing well. And the next thing you know, people meeting other people, and finally I'm getting paid. And then like 3 or 4 years later, I met Jesse at a house party, and we just hit it off immediately. We were just completely hit it off. And I pretty sure at the time it was like um what was it? Ex Machina had just come out,
Was it?
and
Yeah.
also like what's that other one? Under the Skin had just come out.
Oh, yes, I can see why you think of those in the same
And
vein because I agree with
yeah,
you.
and we were both just like kind of like buzzing on those movies and those scores, and I remember we were just like couldn't stop talking about those scores because they're so exciting and so new. And we just hit it off, and I said, well, hey man, I score films, and horror is kind of my favorite thing, and we should talk more and we should do this. He's like, actually, I'm working on a horror short film right now, and it was called Mr. Harvish. And he's like, here's my email, send me stuff you've worked on. And then, so I did, and the next thing you know, I scored Mr. Harvish. And then that just started years of working together. Like, I mean, I've worked on everything he's done since, and we're just friends and
Yeah.
similar. We have the similar tastes, and so
Totally.
that would, I say, lead into how we became so tight.
Do you like to be called like a composer? Is that like your title, or like do you have a title in your brain of like what you would like to be called?
I consider myself a composer for sure, yeah. And then I would say a little bit of a sound designer too, because these days, just doing a lot of the trailer music, you really need to spend the time on sound design, because that's what makes you stand out.
Did you learn on the keyboard? Was that your main axe?
Guitar is my main, like that's the instrument I play the best, I would say. But then keyboard, yeah, I'm on the keyboard most of the time though, because of how you compose. You usually for me, you compose on a keyboard because the notes are all there. You can figure out your arrangement. But guitar is what I'm best at. But I don't really put guitar much in trailer music.
You were talking about trailer music, so I kind of want to dive into that a little bit. That's where, I mean, it seems like that's where you're at now, right? Is-
Yeah, primarily. That's
Yeah,
like been my main focus and what I've been mostly working on the last couple of years. Depending on the size of the movie or the budget, like if it's a big one, they might have 4 or 5 different trailers out there with a different feel for everyone, trying to
right.
trying to grab their audience. If it's kind of a scary movie, they're gonna hit the thriller aspect, or they're gonna hit the horror aspect. They're gonna hit maybe if there's romance at all, they're gonna try and hit that. And that music is some of the highest level production of any music out there today. It's becomes because it's just so competitive, and the budgets are big, and
Everybody's
they're
pushing
just
each other to get better.
everybody's pushing each other. The editors are pushing each other. A lot of the times these production houses, they're competing amongst each other for the same trailer, because they know what the budget is, so they're all making their own and pitching it, hoping that they land that. So it's just crazy competitive. There's so many talented people working in that. And I just got brought on to work on some a couple years ago, and I was like, this is fun. Like this is so much fun. The structure, the production, all that. And then I just was like, I want to do more of this.
When you get a trailer, what kind of information are you given beforehand? Do you know the movie? Do you know just the concept? Um, do you see scenes or what? I mean,
Yeah, God, great question, Mark. Mark,
Oh,
you're fucking killing it today, buddy.
yeah.
I
I
just
mean, that
want
is a great question.
a great question. Hey, can you go through the Final Destination one, or can we not talk about that?
Oh, Yeah,
You did Final Destination?
Oh, okay. Well, he didn't. I mean, he got the brief for it.
I
Okay.
yeah, I don't. Okay, well, here's how it usually works though. So, like, I just recently wrote a full trailer album for a publisher where they wanted me to just write it, and then I basically then they take that and then they give it to the trailer houses, so that I make money, they make money. Every time a track gets used, we both make money. So most of the time, I'm just writing it up front, and then we make it as good as it can be, and then I move on to the next thing, and then they go and continue to pitch it. But I also work with several of these production houses, and they also get custom briefs all the time. Basically, I just get a brief that says, here's the movie, and then they tell you what it's about, and they tell you how they want it. This is the direction we're going, like when they want you to ramp it up or whatever. And in this case, I'm not going to say the name of the song because it's not out yet or anything, so I don't want to mention that. But in this case, they're using an old classic hit, that they want trailerized. So, because they're licensing this song, so they give me the audio and all the stems of this classic hit, and then I go and make a trailer around that makes sense, that works together. So sometimes too, like I had gotten a brief one time for this commercial for the NBA Finals, and I got the brief and I had to turn it around. Luckily, I actually got that one, but it's real quick. And then they give you examples too. There's usually like reference tracks, which is usually YouTube links. So they'll give you a bunch of YouTube links that they're like, here's the vibe we're going for, this is just so you kind of have a direction to go in. So you're not shooting in the dark, just guessing. So the reference tracks are incredibly helpful. So you can really go, okay, I think I know what they want here. Now I just do me, make it mine, and try it, and then cross your fingers that yours wins the the competition, so to speak. Trailer music has a structure to it, and they just call it the 3-act structure. It's you have an intro, and you have act one that is very basic, and you're just throwing in the little fundamentals and the foundation. Act two jumps up. Act three is massive. So basically, but you're dissecting all these things, so you're trying to do a lot with very little. But if you go listen to trailer music, it's some of the most epic, big sounding stuff that you'll ever hear.
Trailers have become such an art form in themselves. Like that art has grown so much throughout like the years, throughout like the 80s, 90s, 2000s, right? And now we're at this part where like trailers are like they're very renowned and very respected in the industry of being like almost like a mini film, like a mini, and there's a lot of production value that goes into these things to make it sell the film, but also to make it like a creative outlet for a lot of people, that's really fucking cool, right? Like for us with movies, that's dope. So that's interesting as it parallels the music video, because I feel like the music videos are going the opposite way. Isn't that wild?
Mm-hmm.
Music videos are not very much respected as they used to be. Like when they hit in the 80s, music videos were like the ultimate expression of art. Right?
It was the ultimate expression of corporate production, because they needed to promote something very different. They needed to promote the artist's music. And so
they are kind of similar, I guess, right? Yeah. They are similar. They are promoting something, but I mean, music videos back in the day were like films. They were like, I mean,
right. They became the trailer to the artist's album.
Yeah. That totally, like that's the advertisement. We're trying to sell it, And then the budget that they had for music videos in the 80s and 90s, like they had massive budgets. Compared to now.
Oh, there's no budget now. People, the artists are independent. They need to get their name out there, and they need to do it all their own.
Well, that's exactly it. We're living in a world where there's either a fucking $50 million budget or no budget.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I bet.
Right?
That's what it seems like.
indie down here and just lots of money industry here. There's hardly
Mhm.
any of this middle room
No,
that we grew
there,
up. And we had a little bit of wiggle room there, right?
Yeah.
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 I think we've gone way along, you know? How's
well,
it,
you're the one
Oh.
editing this, so I don't give a fuck.
what is your dream for all of this, Colton? What do you want to do with your life?
What do I want to do with my life? I would say just keep doing what I'm doing. Honestly, man, it's pretty. I mean, I just every day I just do what I want for the most part. You know, like I'm writing the music I want. I'm pursuing those projects that I want. You know, because I learned to say no to stuff if it's not interesting, and so I'm just doing what I want. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to continuing that. I'm hoping too that the new relationships I've made with this new trailer houses, I hope I can land some big ones here soon. I think it'll happen. But either way, I'm just gonna keep plugging along, doing it. Whenever you have coming to, like, I'm always excited to work on anything you got going on because it's fun and I think we make cool shit together. So I'm always down for that. I'm always excited for that. But yeah, I'm just literally just keep going.
Great meeting you, Colton, and
Yeah, great meeting you too, Mark.
Bye, Colton.
Nice.
I
See you
love
guys.
see you
See you
later.
guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
You bet. Trying to figure out how to get out of here.
Yeah.
Participants, is that it?
Leave,
Nope.
leave it, Colton. Get out.
Leave.
Press the button.
Oh, leave. It says leave over there. There we go. Leave meeting.
Mark left. Colton. God, it's.